Hello everyone. We are learning a 10-step model for academic integrity by Ken Caldwell. So these are the 5 points: articulation of a clear purpose and mission, maintenance of dialogue with stakeholders, refinement of ethics curriculum, monitored enforcement and documentation of result, evaluation of outcomes and communication of results. These are the 5 points from 10-step model which my friend Dr. Karthikeyan has already explained in the previous video. Now I Indu Tyagi explain next 5 points of the model. So the 6th point is empowerment of students in education and enforcement. Clearly explaining university policies about plagiarism and carefully articulating the many types of inappropriate academic conduct are the critical tasks in educating students and enforcing academic integrity policies. And these tasks are made easier when student peers participate in and support this communication effort. McBay reported that 81% of the faculty in university with honor codes believe that students should be involved in handling cheating incidents. Research suggests that students who identify strongly with a university are less likely to cheat with those who have lower sense of personal identification. So this is the point which in 10-step model is described: empowerment of student in education and enforcement. So what is important is the student involvement is very important. Maintenance of dialogue with stakeholders. This is the next point. Gallant and Darinen suggest that solving the student cheating problem can most effectively be addressed by organizational dialogue focused on understanding the root cause of cheating and developing an appropriate organizational strategy which involves key stakeholders. Murdoch and Enderman offer a national framework for understanding student goals, expectation for accomplishing these goals, and assessment about cost of achieving those goals. The dialogue will increase faculty understanding of the importance of developing high quality teaching method and support system that can build student self-efficacy and the confidence that there is a realistic and feasible alternative to cheating to achieve success in classroom. So these are the viewpoints of some scholars to define the maintenance of dialogue with stakeholders. Now, in refinement of ethics curriculum, courses in both graduate and undergraduate business training need to be reviewed constantly, keep current, and must focus on the application of moral principles if ethics education is going to impact students' behavior. A growing body of evidence supports the idea that moral awareness can be learned and ethical decision making can be improved by training in business ethics. Have suggested that business ethics training be focused on clearly targeted learning outcomes. So Sims and Felton have suggested this thing that it should be focused on clearly targeted learning outcomes. So it should be targeted. Trevino and McCabe have advocated that business ethics courses focus on moral development training, problem solving to address moral dilemmas, and education about application of ethical and moral principles. Satwa urged that business ethics teachings be focused on principle-based rather rule-based concept. So this is the point where authors have kept their views, and Ken Caldwell collected all these views, and this is the 8th point in the model. In next point, monitored enforcement and documentation of result. It is a critical control function identified by leadership scholars as absolutely and follow through. Faculty and administrator working together to determine the effectiveness of academic integrity program. At the same time, university administrators need to carefully assess the role that they play and the resources they provide in creating a sustainable program. German emphasized that monitoring academic honesty required understanding how cheating takes place, combined with well-planned effort to design assignment and testing processes to make it more difficult for students to cheat. Ross noted that in monitoring cheating, faculty must be aware of the sophistication of dishonest students in being dishonest and match that sophistication in detecting their dishonesty. So this is the point how we monitor the enforcement and we document the result. So this is the 9th point of the model. In the next point, evaluation of outcomes and communication of the result. It is equally important. Thoroughly assessing information gathered in the monitoring and documentation stage can lead to key components, improvements, and communicating results to stakeholders. Provides an opportunity for thanking participants, validating their efforts, and celebrating change. Evaluating outcomes and communicating the progress of the effort to improve academic integrity have been identified as important factors to develop sustainable culture. A commitment to constant review, reflection, and modification, that is noted by Duquesne, as part of an ongoing continuous improvement process was one of the 6 key lessons learned in implementing a change in ethics culture. Wood and Wharton have emphasized the importance of integrated approach that monitors outcomes, continually evaluates results, and develops community partnership for continuous improvement. So once again we revisit all 10 points of the model: articulation of clear purpose and mission, orientation and training of faculty, explanation and clarification of current policies, implementation of realistic process for addressing violation, attainment of student ownership, empowerment of students in education and enforcement, maintenance of dialogue with stakeholders, refinement of ethics curriculum, monitor, enforcement and documentation of result, evaluation of outcomes, and communication of result. So finally, how we conclude this thing? If academics are to influence students' value positively and create a new class of ethical corporate citizens, we must understand how to instill in our students a strong sense of ethics. Creating that sense of ethics demands that faculty and administrators clearly understand the root causes of the academic dishonesty, the cultural elements that communicate the value of organization, the reinforcing systems that demonstrate and the organization commitment to creating a culture of integrity, and the mechanism that deter and detect academic dishonesty. In writing about the moral duties of leaders in the modern organization, LeD suggests that obligation owed to stakeholders encompass 3 levels of responsibility: the responsibility to do no harm, to add current value, to add future value. So I stopped for a while and just think why moral duties of leaders in modern organization, such responsibilities are must. So you think for a while, write your answer. So let's see why it is important. It is important to note that university, faculty, and administrators who fail to instill principles of academic integrity in their students implicitly contribute to the cheating culture. Creating an academic culture that incorporates the above 10 steps requires a visionary administrations that understands the importance of system reinforcing cultural factors that are essential to aligning practices with principle and actions with ideals. So those who wish to collaborate further to work on educational technologies, join me by introducing on my mail indutyagi1180@gmail.com. People who forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.